I'm Maggie Lake, and I make botanical artwork using plant specimens that I preserve. And today I'm collecting water plants for a piece that I do that's all about Vermont pond flora. So I'm out here in the fall when the leaves are the color that I want, and I'm collecting them so that I can then press and preserve them. So I'm taking things like water lily and a leaf called Brassinia, which is water shield, and also a leaf called floating heart, and later I'll put them together into a piece of artwork. So I like to say that most artists go to a store to buy their supplies, and I forage for mine out in the wild. There's some ducks over here. Hey guys, what you doing? Wanna come out with me and get some duckweed? So I'm going to go over here where there's a special leaf that I know is always in the middle called Brassinia, water shield, and I'm going to start collecting that. It's got an amazing pattern to it because certain insects will drill holes and little lanes through the leaves. And I try to find leaves that are really eaten because it's so beautiful. I'll bring this one close. So beautiful, the patterns and the changes to the leaves. So the ducks and I are going to go out here. Which is over here, because this is water lily, and we want water shield. water shield, and right now it's either green or red, but next week it will turn golden, and it's a shield, like armor, you know. That's what it's named after. It looks like a shield. And you can see where the bugs have created these holes and tracks. This one's great. This one's starting to turn a little golden. There's a nice red one over here. I love the red ones. There's a red one. This is just green. They have a really slimy surface on the back. It's like a gelatin, which makes pressing them difficult, but worth it. Here's one that's really bug-eaten. See all the holes in it. I love them when they're almost like lace. Whoops, that one just ripped. Here's one that's got a little tinge of red in it. That's pretty. To creating the piece that I love. Everything from being outside in the most amazing places. Everything from traveling to the tundra in Alaska. I've collected in Ecuador, in the jungle areas, cloud forests. I've collected in Australia, huge tree ferns, and Vermont, in the ponds and the fields and the woods, all the spring ephemeral jack-in-the-pulpits and trillium, just being out there and seeing the habitats and collecting the flora and thinking about how can I play with this to make something beautiful, and then going back to the studio and working with those specimens and seeing the finished product all framed. It's just a piece of the outside beautifully presented. So I love the whole process that it takes to come up with a finished product. I'm going to put down the different stages of the water lily, either in its open stage or in the bud stage, and pile up my blotting paper and my corrugated cardboard. And I'm going to do some leaves now. And these are the leaves that I love so much. This is water shield, and you're going to see all the different colors next to one another, and the little tiny designs in them that the bugs and time have made, and the different colors. There's some beautiful red ones, and these are all going to be pressed and put into a drying chamber at 120 degrees where they're going to dry rapidly. And dragonflies. And then they will be put into a freezer at 30 below zero. Where they will sit for 2 weeks, and that allows any parasites that might be in the plants to be killed by the cold. So I'm going to close this up because this wind is too much. And when I close it, I use a lot of pressure to really smash down those buds and leaves. And so that's real snug. And I'll come back in after that's been in the dry air for a day, and some of the moisture's been extracted, and I'll snug it again. And I'll do that for about 3 days until these are bone dry. And then into the freezer they go. I was a botany student in the 70s at the University of Fairbanks, Alaska, and started making a product with the plants about 25 years ago. I start all of the salvia and the amaranth and the sage and the black-eyed Susans from seed in March, and now I'm harvesting. This is blue salvia. And this is called globe amaranth. This comes in a huge amount of colors. We should walk down here and I'll show you all the different colors. It's just amazing. This is also globe amaranth here. Beautiful color. And these press and look really beautiful in the botanical work. So I'm just going to collect some of these. Hi, I'm Maggie Lake. Welcome to my studio. Come on in. We were in the pond together collecting all of those specimens, and after I have pressed them and dried them and deep frozen them, they're all stored in my little herbarium over here. And each envelope contains a different plant specimen. So this is what I will be working from, is specimen folders full of different plants. What we're going to use today are the plants that we collected in the pond, and that would be water lily, water shield leaf, floating heart, all different pond flora. So let's go over here and I'll construct something using those plants. We collected water shield leaf on the pond together, and this is what they look like once they've been processed. They're incredibly colorful. So I'm going to use them in a piece that I call Vermont Pond Flora. And what I do is I lay out with a template around my piece a variety of different specimens from the ponds. So I'll use some of these beautiful water shield leaves, and I'll use some water lilies, which I believe we collected that day also, and they're beautiful when they're pressed. They have a wonderful color and dimension to them, and I will place those on here, and I'm going to spend a lot of time arranging these, but right now I'm just going to get my specimens out. Have a wonderful leaf called floating heart. Looks like a little heart. And I'm going to use that in the work as well, just to have a sampling of what grows in our local ponds. People aren't aware of what's growing in the water. You just take it for granted, sort of, that there's flora in the water, but when you look at it carefully under glass, it's pretty amazing, the variety of plant forms. I also like to use curly stems of the water lilies in the work. It just gives a real floating feel to the work, so you just feel like you're in the water or looking at the water. So I'll put those into the work as well. So this just gives you an idea of how I put together the pieces after I've done a lot of collecting of specimens. I'll use a glue, which is a botanical glue called Missouri glue. It's got the correct pH. It's made from resin, a plant resin, so it won't interact with the specimens and degrade them. And I will affix the specimens to the board using this glue, and I'll show you how I do that. So I use a paintbrush and I paint the specimen on the back side. Each specimen gets painted, and then I'll choose where I want to place that and start laying down the specimens. You can do it this way, but it's best to really paint that specimen all over with the glue. And that will go on and on until I've got the whole piece made, and then I'll put it under weights. And I've got those weights over here. I'll take a piece out that I've already constructed. To show you, after it's been weighed down, what a piece will look like. So this is a different piece, but this has been weighted down. This one's ready now to mat and frame. Matting that one. And then I'll frame it in a beautiful bird's eye maple frame, which I can show you if you want. This one is all different herbs. This is globe amaranth, bee balm, blue salvia, and nasturtium. This is yarrow, all different colors of yarrow. This is bee balm in a grouping. I also use a lot of woodland specimens. This is a finished piece of what I'm working on now. This one's all framed up. Here. So I use a lot of woodland specimens, things that grow in our woods, like fiddleheads or jack-in-the-pulpit. Use a really beautiful dark burled maple frame on this one. So I'm going to get back to work here before my glue dries and keep putting this together. Thanks for coming and watching me. I hope I see you on Friday, Saturday, and or Sunday for the Putney Craft Tour on Thanksgiving weekend. It's a lot of fun. This year there's 27 of us opening our studios. You can watch us work, come shop, ask questions. It's really a fun weekend. Thanks.